Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another podcast from the Gold Coast Locals. I'm Len and Ridley. I've got Ridley here with me today. He's in our new venue. We're here at Mano's on Tedder Avenue, just kicking back. We had a beautiful morning. We went for a little bike ride, Ridley and I, this morning, went down to the beach, and I'll tell you, for those people who don't live on the Gold Coast, let me tell you, you have missed one of the most beautiful mornings this morning. It was absolute cracker. The ocean looks like a mill pond. It's absolutely flat out, and there's whales out there, and everything's going on. So it was nice to see people just along the boardwalk, and not the boardwalk, but the paths and that sort of stuff, people just looking and actually just checking out the whales. The whales were just splashing around out the front. So what a fantastic opportunity we've got here on the Gold Coast just to see Mother Nature at its absolute best. So talking of Mother Nature, we've got Max Christmas back with us again. Max, this is our second journey. As I said to you last time, you've got way too much knowledge to get through it in 45 minutes. So we better get you back and have a bit of a chat. So thank you for coming back.
Good to be here.
Saying good day to us.
Yeah.
So Max, last time we talked about a lot of different things, tourism and that sort of stuff, and some of the other gentlemen that you know and that you've evolved with on the Gold Coast, and the development of the paddling and all that sort of stuff, and the surf clubs and everything like that. But Max Christmas is known for Max Christmas Realty, pretty much. Like, you have been involved in the real estate business for, I don't know, you'll tell me how long, a few years. And, I'd be really interested, and I'm sure a lot of people are, because they wouldn't have had the opportunities to know how a lot of our land has developed, some of the deals that have been done, some of the crashes that have happened in real estate and that sort of thing. So where did your real estate experience, Max, started back when?
Well, it started when I came here. I was 14 years of age, and I got an apprenticeship as an apprentice carpenter.
Yep.
And the first thing I learnt then was in the construction field was a piece of land. So land became part of any development of any country, anywhere. And the land development before 53, or around 53, there was a subdivision going on, which we couldn't see. It was way in the back box of Broadbeach, and it was Miami Keys. And Miami Keys was built by Alfred Grant. It's a waterfront canal subdivision back in 1956.
Wow, they started early then, didn't they?
That was the first one in the city and the first one in Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So 1956.
56.
And it would have been a day trip to get out to Miami Keys from Surfers Paradise back in those days, wouldn't it?
It had to be pumped up, and believe it or not, it was white sand in there. It's about a kilometre back from the highway. Yep. Or the casino. And it stood out there when you flew over in a plane, this white sandy patch and the green patch of nowhere.
It just, yeah.
And a dirt road, of course, which went flooded and went underwater.
Yep.
And anyway, he was a pioneer, and he was a big real estate guy in Queensland, probably the biggest at the time.
Oh, okay. And so that was the first development, like as a canal development and that sort of thing.
Canals,
yeah. It's obviously it caught on.
It's caught on because that's the foundation. The next one that was pumped up. So the key was to do pumping and pumping them up.
Right.
This idea came from Florida in America, and the biggest number of canals in the world is in Fort Lauderdale.
Right. Yep.
So and then all the other ones followed, but we here in Australia is the second biggest in the world. Canal really? The second biggest in the world of canal subdivisions.
Are we the country that is it the Arab Emirates built that palm tree looking, that one they've got over there in Dubai?
In Dubai, that's it. But in the world, there's many other places have been substituted, going on and on. But Singapore was probably double the size of Singapore by the pumping.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and also in Hong Kong. It gradually came from the existing buildings in Hong Kong Harbour. They about 2 more streets into the harbour.
Ah, okay.
So
wow.
All the newest developments in Hong Kong in the last 25 years are all man-made, pumped up.
So when you say man-made, pumped up, so where do they get all the stuff? Like
You suck it out of the ocean.
Yep.
The ocean floor.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes it's down to rock, but there's a lot of fill in ocean sand roll on the ocean.
And then just keep putting it on top and compacting,
Yeah.
keep putting it on compacting.
And also the sand that comes into the ocean, like in the Broadwater.
Yep.
But all that sand comes off the rocks in the mountains. So every river and every place in the whole east coast of Australia and the world
Yep.
has all this sand being come down the river,
Yep.
and you've got this fill to expand land masses. And Singapore's a great example.
Yep, yep. So after the initial canal development, so where do we do? Did that guy keep doing more development?
No,
more
he
canals?
didn't. But what happened, then the Stanley Corman came along, and also in '56, and Paradise Island was the next one to be pumped up. And then another one was pumped up, which is Budds Beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Burt Avenue, Budds Beach down there was all pumped up because it was below flood level.
Yep.
And it just went on and on. Then Florida Gardens was after that.
So
And it was pumped up. And so what happened, then came the Paradise Water, there came the Chevron Island,
Yep.
and then Paradise Waters, and Runaway Bay, and the whole thing spread, everything you see, right through to Nerang, up the river. And how you judge that whether it flooded or not is an RL, a river level.
Yep.
A river level, which is RL 8. When you get to Nerang, it's RL 12.
So big chance of flooding.
Yeah, that's why we don't have the floods and why we've had that. So the engineers at that time learned a heck of a lot about the overseas tactics.
Yep.
And the council, the Albert Shire Council was a forerunner in all this leading stuff. Robina was also designed on American style subdivisions.
Yep.
And it's totally American. Anyone from America goes to Robina, this looks like an American subdivision.
Yeah, it does too. It does.
So what happened? We created a long term to be multinational and also international. And we flew a lot of our people, engineers all the time,
Right.
overseas to look at these things. And then they came back with the concepts council-wise to learn. So it's quite exciting just what the councils went through. And then also the casino, it had to be pumped up. It went underwater also.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a little island.
Yep.
It was a caravan park island. So if you look at the history we're talking about, we're really touching on really some very sensitive stuff and fabulously planned.
Because just imagine if in today's environment, with the green people and the greenies and all these people that that want all that, could you imagine these things happening in the sort of environment today?
Look, the wonderful thing here on this city's growth was there was no greens, and there was no unions to stop everything.
Yep. Yeah.
And you talk about red tape. Those people have created blockages everywhere. So we're heading for a massive unemployment with the virus that's gone on.
Yep.
And the whole world has changed. And really, it's from China to America to Europe. There's massive change.
Yeah.
But what we developed here in the foundations up till 1980, we were allowed a simple word called we're allowed to work 7 days a week.
Yep. Yeah.
No penalties.
No penalties. Go for your life. No, but I think like as I said today, to be able to develop land and to do what we've actually done on the coast, to create the canals, to create all those sorts of things, would it get through council today? Would would the green effect have that much say that we wouldn't be doing those things? Do you think?
It's got to a stage where nobody will even want to have a go.
Too hard.
It all has to. No, the delays are too long. And what happens in the property industry? You only have a window of opportunity for about 2 years, and then you have a down market for 4 years.
Right.
So generally speaking, it's 2 years to make some money. That's build a high rise and get out of it, or let it linger on and lose your money in one of the 4 years when the market goes off. Interest rates, other things change because of our trading mechanisms. We've come finally now, because of the virus, to a total discovery of standstill and panic everywhere.
Yeah, there's definitely panic, and I think that's even been portrayed a lot more through the media, them saying, September's a deadline now with all these other things that are, the job keeper and the job seeker, these things are going to have a big effect. And so I think there is a fair bit of panic, setting in, but I don't think it's necessary. Me personally, I don't think it's necessary.
It is necessary because we've got to clean out the people that hinder progress and hinder everything.
Do you think the virus is going to do that?
The virus is going to do that.
Oh, interesting.
It's going to be the greatest thing, the virus, in cleaning up, but particularly in the medical world. It's staggering what's going on in all the universities of the world currently, and what I'm reading overseas, that they're flat out looking at not this virus, 4 or 5 other viruses.
Yes.
And they're looking at meat, for instance, as being a source of virus. Of anything, animals that eat the grass or eat this or that is going to be a danger to what they pick up and turn in for the humans to get a virus. So it's taken seriously worldwide, and what we're going to see is probably a 15-20% unemployment, and we're going to see a settling about 2023, 24, but 23 for sure. The whole unemployment will be 7% in America. Now, I'm not sure of Australia, but I do know my actual figures, and I am looking forward, which I've always had to do, look forward. How I was successful in the business is thinking 5 and 10 years forward.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I totally understand. As I said, like we take one step back a little bit and we talk a little bit more about government. So we were the Albert Shire originally, weren't we? We were part of the Albert Shire, which was based in Logan.
Yeah, no, based in Nerang.
Nerang, sorry.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
And then
and the ringleaders, the Albert Shire engineers were excellent, absolutely excellent, and the council was excellent. It was led by Russell Hinds.
Yep.
And Russ Hinds was the minister for everything in the Queensland government with Joe Bialke. And between those two, and they're all country guys, and they transformed the state. I was involved also there with them on the death duties. Mm-hmm. And we got rid of the probate duties. We were killing the farmers in the farms.
Yep.
We didn't have any intention what effect it had on real estate. It turned out to be a boom for the real estate for the next 10 years, while New South Wales, Victoria, stumbled around with their probate duties.
Yep, they stumbled around and everyone moved to Queensland.
Yeah. Then a staggering bit in my career, talking about land and various things, on a visit to Japan with Joe and 3 other businessmen, I started a relationship with the Japanese. And within a year, I'd struck a relationship with the Panasonic founding company, which built Royal Pines. And before that, the client I had was Mike Gore, who also built Sanctuary Cove.
Sanctuary Cove, that's right. Yeah, Sanctuary Cove was, when you sit back now and have a look, I know my father was actually worked at Sanctuary Cove, and you sit back now, it was a long time before it's like, as you said, like the Rabinas and those sorts of things. The development that we've had on the Gold Coast has been a lot earlier than probably what it's been required to a certain extent.
Well, I always learned a lot from America.
Yeah.
And we learnt gated communities started in the early 80s in America, and they were going in the late 70s, gated communities, right?
Yep.
And there was gated communities with golf courses, and there's gated communities of all different types. But I did study that business, and also I was the one that Mike Gore went, some contacts of mine in America, that learned about the gated communities.
Oh, okay.
And he came back and did the Sanctuary Cove thing, and also Royal Pines as gated communities.
Yep. And
we were the first in the country to do that. And there we are, a new era altogether.
Yeah.
But getting back to land subdivisions and the various contributors to the land, and the rivers.
Yep.
And the lakes and the various things, and the ocean. Yeah. It all goes together.
Yeah, that's right. All does go together, doesn't it? As I said, like, those developments were, as I said, like, I believe, well and truly in front of, like, where the Gold Coast was at that stage. But when you go back to land and you talk about the deals and that sort of stuff that you've seen in real estate and all that sort of thing, have what do you think would have been, whether it was foreign or Australian or whatever, what was the buy of the century that you've seen in real estate, through your experience?
A lot of the buyers goes back probably in history. If you look at history in America and all over the world and the various things, land subdivisions or whatever it is, were capturing countries and doing the land, you'll find that often they went broke. And what happened, like with the railway lines in the 1800s, they built the railway lines in America, and England was all full of railway tracks and various things and that. But Rockefeller and those fellows that had the railway lines went broke. There's a word called broke comes into real estate. I think everyone will go to that story. They do know it does happen.
Oh, of course. It is, because it can fluctuate so much.
What happens then, the deals have picked up on the rebound once or twice, and then they're developed again.
Yep.
But in America, the train lines, they found oil. So the Rockefellers
went
the
broke
railway
finding
line
oil.
and had oil.
Wow.
And when they were bankrupt, but they still had the land, and they pumped the oil out and got super rich.
There you go.
Real estate's an exciting game.
Oh, I see it, absolutely. I mean, I look at the development of sovereign islands and those places, and the size of the blocks of land up there, the size of the houses that have been developed up there and that sort of thing. It's, I mean, there's some monster houses up there on,
Well, Sovereign Islands, you mentioned that one there, and all that land's around. Bernard Lewis developed that.
Okay.
Bernard Lewis was a real estate agent from Tasmania, and he became successful, and not there, but here. And the first piece of land he bought was through me at Nobby's Beach there, on the in some land, and he sold it quickly to Jock McElwain, and Jock McElwain, and then he tried to buy it back again, so he made a mistake. And Jock McElwain, who passed away a few years ago, a famous developer, he was tied up doing all the engineering for Bruce Small on the canals.
Another well-known Gold Coast entity.
And then Bruce Small, I worked with Bruce Small on all the canals and various things for many, many years.
Because Bruce Small was the mayor, wasn't he?
He was the mayor, but he came when he was 60 years of age. He took a bit of a downturn with his bicycle shops.
Oh, okay.
He had bicycles, Melbourne Star bicycles.
Really? That was Bruce Small?
That was Bruce Small. And he got into financial difficulties, and he took an option on some land out there, Isle of Capri, and he built the bridge.
Yep.
And Stanley Coleman built the bridge onto Chevron Island because he developed that from a swamp.
Yeah.
So it goes on.
It's quite amazing how all these places have come together,
And I've enjoyed the journey with all of them.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. That's what I said. We're talking to you, Max, because some of the stories and some of the experiences that you've had, people will never have those experiences. They have the opportunity to have those experiences again.
We had, and I didn't know, I was young and that thing, but I just happened to know the territory and the places and the various things, and somehow I travelled, in the world and studied things as well in America and Europe.
Yeah.
And in different countries I spoke at conferences and various things in a real estate group, French it was, called Fiabski, yeah, and that was a member of that group out of France.
Oh, okay.
And I went to all the conferences in different countries, learned a lot.
Yep.
Because I even met lots of developers in America and England, and all the backgrounds and that. Anyway, so it's all come together, and real estate became a new city, which is brand new in this country.
Yeah.
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, yeah, exactly. So you think, Max, like your experience and where you've seen real estate go and sort of where it's at now. I mean, a lot of people, whether they want to face the truth or not, I mean, for how I see it, real estate hasn't really grown on the Gold Coast since the GFC. We've had small amounts of growth. We've seen Sydney go up. I think the Chinese got into Sydney and bought a lot of property in Sydney, which may be a little bit of a false economy to a certain extent.
Look, the Japanese have come and the Japanese left. The Chinese have come, the Chinese have retreated. So this happens in cycles through economics, overseas or wherever they come from. But the thing was that the Japanese, I was involved with them coming.
Yeah.
And how I got them to come. I was the first one there. And back in, I went there in 85, and I joined up and got a contract with the Panasonic family.
Yep. Yes.
Matsukini. This is the founding company of the family, and they own 30% of Panasonic. They used to own the whole lot.
Yep.
But it's billions of dollars. They gave me an order for $1 billion to buy real estate.
In 1985.
1987.
1987. $1 billion.
And
Here,
then
go
they
for your
went
life.
on, $1 billion. They said, we have permission from the Japanese government to spend $3 billion.
Wow.
I spent $2 billion with them. Not many agents have ever done that with one
I
client.
don't know. That's what I said, Max. Some of the things that you've seen, we'll never see again. Do you think we've scared the Japanese off?
Oh, the Japanese haven't been scared off. The Japanese came here in 1900.
Yep.
There's a bit of history. Not many people know that. But their biggest bank, one of their biggest banks came here then, and since 1901, I think it was actually. And they have continued to be a powerhouse in Australia, quietly. About many of the companies are owned 15% by Panasonic, by Japanese companies.
Right. Yep.
And they have been wounded like everyone else at time to time, but they are here and stronger quietly in the mining area. Mainly they're in mining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, plus their TV sets and plus all their other sets and all the Japanese companies
yep.
and the motor cars.
Cars, yep.
They are massive.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
They
I think
are
they've
massive
got a
and
major influence.
they're fabulous traders for us.
Yep.
So the deep part of Australia is some of these things that people don't know. And they think it's the enemy.
Yep.
But it is the number one company in cars in the world.
Oh, absolutely. And
Toyota.
Yeah, Toyota. They sell that many of them. It's not funny. They're all over the place. Yeah.
So there's much history about it's not been told in Australia about the depth and background. So on the present day, these peaks and that where it is now, particularly in Sydney and Melbourne, they just went overboard with the prices.
Yeah.
And as been written in all the papers, in the last 3 months or 4 months, they're all predicting a 32.5% drop in the price of properties in Sydney.
So do you think real estate agents back in those days, Max, might have been taking advantage of some of these Japanese people?
No. The real estate agents just had one word: invest.
And they did.
And that's all they did. And the people they bought things, right?
Yeah.
But why they bought that how I cracked the market was I was sitting in Tokyo at a business meeting with about one chairman of a company and about 10 other guys, and I mentioned the word probate duty. And I said, in Queensland we have no death duties. And I didn't know this, but what happened, what I said, the chairman stood up and said, repeat that. I said, what? He said, probate, you have none? I said, that's right. He said, ours is 70%. 70% probate. I found out that probate in the world was always 49% or 50%, and some places was 45%. But every country had probate tax.
Really? 70%?
70%. And that's why the Japanese came, and they came for about 3 years, truckloads of dollars.
Ah.
And that's why the boom was here because of that, what I said.
So that death tax and that sort of thing that we used to have years and years ago that you guys got together and got rid of had an effect not only in Australia but it reached out to other parts of the world.
It has been going on and still is.
Still today.
Yeah.
They still have probate in different countries.
Yes.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I'd hate to be at 70%.
But what they
ouch.
do, why the Australians don't know much about it, in my day, you had to have about $2 million. And other countries, maybe it was $8 million before you got into probate. But what we did here was might have been $1 million because nothing around was much over $1 million.
Yeah.
So once you went over $1 million, you're into probate. Like a farm, for instance, if it sold for 1.5, you'd lose $500,000 in probate, or $250,000, half it.
Yeah.
Probate. So there's the key to the whole. Should be taught by everyone. All the people in the schools, the background, the whole thing, what tax is all about.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know about tax and the different countries' taxes, you're not going to win.
No, well, it's an important thing for it. Doesn't matter what business you're in nowadays, does it? You've got to have some understanding of how the tax works.
Yeah. And it doesn't, whether you're trading, business, running anything, that's it. So that's why America and those countries are successful, because they're down to about 20% tax and 25% tax, and they have a ceiling of 36%. Currently, at 36, no more after 36%. Australia doesn't have anything like that.
No.
So for us to proceed in the future, we have to have an overhaul of taxation system, and the public should be taught and learn what I just said.
What tax is all about, how
What it's
it
all
works and
about.
functions, yeah. I agree. I
Otherwise-
agree. I think that's one of the things that our government especially got to look forward to or to work on now going forward, is that they do need to revamp our whole tax system.
Well, the reason for that, a lot of people are satisfied with that, and also it kills the incentive for the young people.
Yeah.
And most people now, if they earn past 125,000, they're on 50% tax.
Yeah, that's right, 48%.
Only
Yeah.
country in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
How could you not? How could a whole country not know what I'm talking about?
No, I agree with you. I totally agree. Like it is ridiculous. You know, like no wonder we have people who get up and travel overseas and do all that sort of thing. You know, the days of owning your own home in Australia, it's funny. It's not that important anymore.
Because I've spent a lot of time overseas with a lot of clients and various things like that, but it's commonly known how we are structured in the tax system in this country that nobody really wants to come in. If you've got any money,
Yep.
don't run a business in Australia because you can't win.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough gig.
Yeah.
You know, and it is. It's like, you know, it doesn't matter where you go nowadays. I mean, look at what's going on in, let's say, shopping centres, for example. Now we've had this COVID experience. You know, like a lot of the retailers have struggled, so they're going, well, we can't afford to pay the rent.
Nobody can win, and all the shareholders are the same too.
Yeah, that's right. It's all relevant. It
And
all
the
goes
super.
back to the thing.
The super's there, but they're taking their money out of the super because they've got to live.
Yeah, yeah. Well, super's supposed to go up to what, 12% or something. Are they talking about raising that? But that's as you said, that's another tax structure.
We have yet over the next 2 or 3 years, 2 years particularly, see if some of the greatest changes are going to happen, because the ones that stop all this, the ones that stop it, they've run out of puff. And I'm talking about the unions,
Yep.
and the Labor Party,
Yep.
and the Greens,
Yep.
and the Senate. Put the three of them together, four of them together, you'll solve the problem.
Well, that's right. The
You will
stuff can
solve the problem.
well, stuff can happen, can't it? Because right now it doesn't. It can't happen.
No, you can't. Can't
You know?
win.
No, you can't win. As I said, like, you know, same with the red tape that's been introduced, you know, and that sort of stuff over the years. You know, you look at if someone was going to do a land development like a sovereign island or a Paradise Waters or something like that. Now, as you said, you know, like the whole red tape thing that you've got to go through to be able to create an environment like that it's
How
crazy.
it all works. For anyone to make any money, like a subdivision like that, if you bought it, like the sovereign islands and all that sort of stuff in the flat, it had massive tax losses. Intercontinental is one of the companies that went down in the Merrimack area, right?
Yep.
With quite a few thousands of acres of land there. And the developers picked that up with the tax losses. Now, a good example is today, the $7 billion loss of Virgin Airlines currently today.
Yep.
That will be sold with the tax losses.
Yes.
Now, it'll be a juggling pot how they put it together, the deal, but it probably will be sold for $3 billion with a $4 billion loss.
Yep.
And I won't go into the details how the structure's been to what I've read between the lines, but I do understand big deals and business
Yes.
and how it's done. So, but all over Australia, all the forward tracks of buying defunct factories or defunct this and all the defunct things have a tax loss. They are sought over by all the overseas because they can get then 10 years profit with no tax
Yes.
on that. If you hand it, Crown Casino was $2 billion, right? Sold for $600,000.
Yep.
That's a language people should know. They know that. They know the casino.
Yep.
Well, when Packer picked that up, he got it for $600,000. He had the losses.
Yeah.
$1.4 million losses.
Back in those days was a good gig.
Big money.
Yeah.
I mean, it ran for the first 5 or 7 years.
Yep.
No tax.
No tax.
There's the key. I say no more.
Yeah. I think
There's
it's
enough
also.
clues there to start thinking.
I know, I agree, and I think it's also pertinent too, Max. So we've got big companies like the Apples and Google and those guys who don't even pay tax in our country. Like, you know,
Well,
you've got that as well. So,
But what they do is they haven't done that. All my life I've known that.
yeah,
And also, the first ones that did that I've come to my attention was Caltex and the oil companies operating the oil and everything out of Singapore
Yep.
and Hong Kong. So Hong Kong has got no tax or 12.5%. Now, I know my taxes in Singapore, I know the taxes in Beijing, I know it in Tokyo, right?
yep.
I haven't been sitting around here in a sense.
Twiddling your fingers.
Twiddling my fingers. If I get a customer from anywhere, I can talk the talk.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's what you need to know. But that's it. That's
Most real estate agents haven't got a clue what I'm saying.
exactly, and hence why you've been so successful in that real estate. You know,
Surviving, I call it.
Survival. Yeah, that's right. Well, it is. It is to a certain extent, isn't it? It goes up, and as you said,
It's a serious game.
Has cycles. It all has cycles. Everything goes through a cycle.
It's like running across the field, and they got the guns on you and the arrows on you. Taxation-wise, bingo, got one.
They can pop you off. They will. They will do. So what about? So we talked a little bit about the Japanese and that sort of stuff. Let's talk about the Chinese, because I know that you've done quite a lot of business. You've spent a lot of time over in China, and I know you and I have had chats outside of here. You know, about things that like the property boom in Sydney, where the Chinese just went in and just pretty much locked them up, didn't they? They bought them and locked them up, and you know, and Sydney sort of grew and grew and grew, and I think a lot of the Chinese got burnt. So, what about your Chinese experience? Like, what are some of the stories that you can give us through there?
Well, first of all, I went there, and I had no intention of talking real estate, which is exactly what I did.
Yep.
Why I didn't talk real estate, because all leasehold land. There's 75-year lease on residential and 45-year lease on commercial.
Oh, okay.
So talk about tax and talk about lease.
Yep.
You're a dead man walking in China,
Right.
because first of all they do that and then put you with a partnership and various things. And I was offered a hospital on the Bund, which is priceless.
Uh-huh.
I signed a contract with them for that, and it was an acre and a half of land. On the original hospital since 1924 or something. It's on TV. Some of the things I did in China, I was on TV with the mayor and that signing. It wasn't, I was dealing around the place like a shady thing. I was out in the open on TV in China, right?
Yep.
Signing agreements, only 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But I didn't. They made me sign the agreements just about. They wanted me to hook one of our big corporations to come in and build a high rise.
Ah, okay.
They knew I couldn't do it.
Yep.
And I knew I wasn't interested in doing it.
But they knew you knew someone who
They-
could.
Well, they'd know I'd know someone that would.
Yeah.
And they also knew that I'd dealt with the Japanese, and the Japanese did come in and fall the trap
Right.
in there, in Shanghai particularly.
Uh-huh.
And they built about 5 big buildings, and they strangled them there, the Japanese. So they're good. There's only one winner in China.
Yeah.
Chinese.
Chinese. No, I'm hearing you. I think we see that on a day-to-day basis that goes on now.
I
Now
wasn't
there's
asleep
this-
at the wheel. I knew what
No.
they were up to.
I know I've been to China in quite a few parts of China and through my dealings in business, and it's an interesting place the first time you get there. I mean, it's just
But
like
where I did have some success and where I did enjoy the journey was in power stations.
oh really
Yeah. So
in China.
what happened, the Chinese, so I talked to different ones in China, the governors I'm talking, like the premiers.
Yeah.
If I went to any state, I was treated with royalty, and the first person I'd meet with the premier of the state, all set up for me to meet him,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
I did a favour in the right circles early in the piece with a trade minister coming to Australia, because I helped him in Canberra to get established here. The first big trade minister they sent to China, to here, I met him in Singapore before he came.
Uh-huh.
And he was my connection in the most powerful position.
So he got you into the places that you needed to get into in China.
I just was floating.
Yep.
And talking to the premiers, when I got to the coal fields and that areas where the coal is and other engineering things there, they pointed to a brochure I had from Evans Deakin, the big Australian company,
yeah.
because I thought they might be interested in boats in the river, or they might be interested in trains for transport. Evans Deakin did that. So their brochure had that in there. But what I didn't pick up, they also serviced and looked after power stations in Queensland. And there was 4 here in Queensland, which I then found out because they all pointed to these power stations.
Yep.
And I woke there's something's on there, so I asked them about the size of them. And that I came back here and said to the Queensland government, they said, we've been trying to break into China for 5 years. They said, we were trying to get power outlets with 200 megawatts or whatever it is.
Yep.
And he said, you've come back with 2,000 megawatts. How did you do that? And so I introduced them and signed an agreement with the Chinese government and the Queensland government, a mutual agreement for trade on our power stations. They want to copy them to build in China.
Oh,
Interesting.
very interesting.
And then
Isn't it funny that we require a private business person to be able to create that environment because our governments back in those days, and even today...
They've been trying, they can't get in the door.
Yeah, no, that's exactly...
No, they can't get in the door.
I feel it's the same today, isn't it?
And that's it. But see, it cost me a couple of million
Yeah.
to go in there, right? I wasn't playing, like, over 10 years, I would have spent... Each trip cost me 15 or $20,000 a trip.
Yep.
For 10 days.
Yep.
To go into China, I learned from the Japanese, they told me the Japanese don't come in on a cheap flight and stay at a cheap hotel. Mm-hmm. That's what the Australians do, right?
Yep.
In other words, they come in as like poor people and start talking about they start talking about being managing directors.
Yeah.
In Asia, a managing director is about number 5 on the list.
Yep. That's right. That ain't that special.
At here, he's number 1.
Yes. Yeah. I know.
Look, there's so many tricks to the trade. So anyway, I was awake to that. So I spent the first class and this and that and all the things, and it paid off. That's the reason I drove Rolls Royces.
Yeah.
Because they knew that nobody could afford a Rolls Royce in Australia.
Mm-hmm. So you bought one,
but I bought the big one.
Yep.
There was only 2 sold in Australia each year. The long wheelbase, they're an extra 100.
I remember the big
Asians knew. The Asians knew.
Yeah.
No Australians knew there was a difference.
Ah.
Look, there's so many.
Oh no, that's right. As you say, there are so many little idiosyncrasies that they pick up on, that they understand, that they know.
And with the Chinese, I went to China 10 years after the Japanese. So the Chinese knew what I did with the Japanese.
Yep.
And Chifley Tower in Sydney was $1 billion, you know. They knew I was somebody.
Yes.
And being an individual, not tied to a corporation, and a chairman, and looked rich, he was successful. Yep. And dealing with the Japanese gave me the walkway straight into China.
Yep.
At the top.
And they love to deal with someone who will say yes and no right there and then.
Well, I also knew my country. I knew the red tape and the headaches and the dangerous people.
Yeah.
So I did that with a minister in China, in Canberra.
Yep.
And that's how I built the relationship.
Oh, okay.
Because I helped him to get established. His deal was to lift our trade from $4 billion a year to $40 billion. He told me his mission.
That's a step.
Now, that's a big step, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But we were only doing $4 billion with China at the time.
Wow.
Now, I'm talking about 1995, 94, 93, 93, 94. He came in 96. So it's only recent, all these things I did.
That's right. That's not long ago at all.
No. But then go back to 1956 when I found out about the canals. I've been pretty active for a long time.
You have, Bex. So that's what, as I said, that's one of the enjoyable things about talking to you, because I always love to get, the stories and the people that you've met and all those sorts of things. We don't have many characters like you, around anymore, who have had the experiences that you've had, been to the places that you've had, and also had the influence in things that have gone on. So
I knew all my prime ministers, and I knew all the people who held the country up.
Yep.
Like the Bob Hawks and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Our heroes, they call.
Yes.
Heroes in stopping the nation.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, all good. Well, I think that's, I've got Ridley yelling at me here. I think that's just about us for today, Max. I really appreciate you coming in again and having a chat with us. As I said, you've got stories, you've got a major influence that you've had over the Gold Coast over many, many years. And, I would like to say thank you, because the Gold Coast wouldn't be what it is today without Max Christmas. You're a character. And as I said, a great guy to have anyone ever sees Max is he's always up for a chat. He's a great bloke. And, as I said, always say g'day and thank you.
Well, I'm just saying, the weather is the main issue.
Oh.
It doesn't matter what I did, if without this weather we've had, and all the whole community's got it, think of that as the blessing we've got, and you can win from here.
As I said, Max, it's one of the most beautiful experiences that you can have. Like this morning, Ridley and I went for a run, did our exercise along the beachfront there this morning. There was people, like it was so nice to see people. And I think one of these things about COVID is we've seen so many more people come out and like experience our beautiful, where we live.
Yeah.
And, just to see people this morning standing on the side of and leaning against the rails with their cameras out and then looking around and going, oh, and then one points, and then all of a sudden they're all at, oh, there it is, just to see a whale, one whale coming along. So, I agree with you. I mean, our weather and our just where we live. I mean, we are one of the luckiest countries in the world, without a doubt, and I think we're very, very lucky people to be able to live in such a beautiful place.
We are. And we're so lucky.
All right, so thanks again, Max Christmas. Thank you very much for coming in and having a chat.
My pleasure.
Really appreciated it, and I just want to say thank you to all those guys who are coming back to us and giving feedback about our podcasts. If you want to, by all means, come in on a Wednesday afternoon to Mano's at Tedder Avenue. We do a live podcast, and we have a bit of a chat with a few of the locals, a few of the people in here. It's starting to gather a bit of momentum, so you've got to get in early if you want to have a chat. But everyone's welcome, so we look forward to catching up with everyone. Max, I look forward to catching up with you again some stage and having a cold beer and, looking after ourselves. Thanks, guys. Look after yourself. Have a great day.
Okay.